Some of you all may know my story, some of you all may not. If you don't, here's the story behind the name. So my journey is off a little something like this. You know how people say they've been singing since they were 2 years old, when they were really just making a little noise, not really singing? Well, me, that's my story. I was really doing art since I was 2 years old. Art was always in me. I was trying to draw something, paint something, color something, whatever. But I got a little secret. Can't draw, never learn how to draw. Can't paint, never learn how to paint. And I don't care to learn how to draw or paint. But it pushed me through. Like I said, I was always been into the art field, art, technology, photography, video, anything in that field. I was always into it and trying to figure it out. Said back then, I didn't know it was graphic design. Cause said all we had was growing up. All I knew was either paint or you draw. That's all. Art was a little small box to me, but I knew there was something in the art field I wanted to do that didn't. That can allow me to go outside of that. I can remember one of my first times getting into art was designing for my home church in Savannah. Shout out to the home team, Canaan Light Christian Fellowship. Pastor Charles and Lana Robeson. If you're down there, please go check them out. Go check them out. But that was one of the first times we really got into art. Hooked up with another guy there. I call him Elder Johnson. He worked at SCAD, so he was my I guess you can say my art hero, because he was the only black person I knew really doing some form of art. Seeing him do art really kind of inspired me and kind of wanted me to express that more. So I did get a lot more involved in the church doing different things. And at that time, it wasn't too much I could do. One of the things I was able and allowed to do was join the media team. Like I said, so joined the media team, was working the camera, and then eventually learned to do the switchboard and the back with the different feeds and things back there. And then one day technology crept up on us, and we got these two projector screens, and they was like, hey, we just want you to we gonna figure this out. We was like, okay. So it was me, my good friend, and my good friend Erica Pullen. We were back there figuring it out, and just slowly by slowly started off with the cameras on the screen. Then it turned into the, okay, we're gonna put the scriptures on the screen. Just kind of start these little small things like that. And said back in those days, if I remember right, Pastor would give us his notes either written down sometime, and we didn't have the Bible back then, so we had to open up the Bible, a paper Bible, and type up his scriptures to put on there. And sometimes he'd give it to us in a Word document, where he'd write them up, but it was on a floppy disk, put a floppy disk in the computer, do it, bang, 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 and it's kind of really started from there. So for me, growing up in church, growing up in that environment, and just being connected around so many people, it allowed me to kind of flourish in my gift, and eventually start making money from it. So I remember one of my first design projects. It was for a logo. It was called Peachtree. I think it's called Peachtree Designs. I think they were like an interior design company. I don't fully remember at this point. I remember that was my first logo that I've ever got paid for. Looking back on it now, it's the worst thing ever. But back then, being my first big logo, I was proud of it. Like I said, and I didn't have all the programs to do things with. I was kind of figured out. We had Print Shop back then. Some of y'all may remember Print Shop. I designed things in Print Shop, trying to do some things in Paint. PowerPoint was my friend. So like I said, I'm just really kind of figuring it out. Some kind of way, it's kind of figuring out how to kind of keep it going. But like I said, I figured it out and pushed through it. Like I said, it's that one project led to another project, led to another project, led to some growing pains, but then led to another project, and like I said, it's kept going from there. So meanwhile, I'm still young, figuring it out, still in school, figuring it out, doing little small things here and there. Like I said, it's slowly just figuring the whole process out. Like I said, it's one of those. I didn't know I was doing graphic design at first. I knew I was just doing art. But then it came to that point to where I'm graduating high school. Time to go off to school. And at first, everyone wanted me to go to SCAD, and I was honestly anti-SCAD. I think it was just because everybody wanted me to go there. I'm going like, I don't want to go. But as time moved on, I'm going like, SCAD can win. That's a good thing. But I applied to SCAD in Georgia State. Got into both. Went to the SCAD acceptance day. Loved the school. Loved the program. But literally, I think that same day, I had to make a choice of, do I want to go SCAD and go the full art route, or do I want to try something new and go to Atlanta to go to Georgia State? Long story short, I ended up in Atlanta at Georgia State. It was a hard choice, but it was probably the best choice I could have made. So at NSEP, they have this org fair. So went to the org fair and walking around and not saying things didn't catch my attention, but there was one thing that really caught my attention. I went to a booth. It was a Spotlight Programs board. Just walked up on it, just talking to him like I'm talking to everybody else. And at the table, I met Elijah. And lo and behold, Elijah was the graphics director for Spotlight. So for me, it was an instant connection for me. I'm going like, oh, so it was one of those. You do design, I'm here for design. It's one of those. I feel like I already got a friend here already. So making that connection with him. So once I got on campus, I was instantly connected, instantly locked in. Spotlight is the premier program board for campus, the only and official programs board for Georgia State University. So we do all the events from homecomings, tailgates, any kind of daytime events. We have events called Panther Prowl. It's like once a month Friday, late night event. I don't know what they do now, but that's what we had back then. So we used to all the main major events for the school, they ran through Spotlight. And so I started off as a volunteer. I was go help out with the different events, whatever they need, whether it be check-in, passing out food, line control, whatever it might be. But somewhere in there, I got connected with Elijah again, and then I actually joined his graphics committee. Now we are now responsible for creating the graphics and assets for these different events. So from there, again, I felt like I kind of found my connection, found out what I wanted to do. I was in love with it so much, I honestly blocked out everything else at Georgia State. It was me and Spotlight from the day I walked into the door to the day I walked out and beyond. Those 4 years really transformed me, starting off as a volunteer with Spotlight, then being on the committee for graphics, being on the committee twice, and then actually it's my turn to now I'm now in charge of the graphics. So it was me and my coach Samaria. We had a team of about 21 people. We were to this day, and at that time we were and still are the biggest committee Spotlight had. So we had a team of about 21. Our team was full of great photographers, great videographers, people in PR, journalists, people that just want to learn and be in the mix. Great team. We had dubbed ourselves the squad, and to this day we are still like this. Spotlight really taught me a lot. It kind of molded me, shaped me. My Uncle Phil, as I call him, he definitely guiding light. He became a mentor, big brother, everything kind of needed, kept me on straight when I was wrong. He told me when I was right. He didn't tell me. Spotlight, gotta give them a lot of credit to just kind of molding me and kind of helped me kind of shape my career and like putting a strong little stamp in where I am today. So my time spent at Georgia State and in Spotlight, and then working with other organizations within the school really prepared me for corporate life. So while my corporate journey wasn't long, it had its pros and its cons. The pros were I get to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning, sit in a little bit of Atlanta traffic, drive to work, get off at 5, sit back in some more traffic, and then go home, and then try to do my, that was my 9 to 5, then try to do my 5 to 9. The cons of working in the corporate world was knowing that there was much more that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it while being confined to that job. So after a while, it got to a point to where I think I'm ready to transition out. I wouldn't say out of corporate, but I would say at least out of that. I would say out of that job. I knew the end goal was out of corporate, but at the time was, I think I'm ready to transition out of this job. So after a while, I was literally getting paid to look for another job. And then one day, while looking for a new job, your boy think he got scammed. So wait, before y'all think I got scammed, because mama ain't raised no fool. I'm a little smart now. But looking at this job, there was a few things. It was like a temporary job. It was in California. It was all hotel paid, all food paid, travel paid, but there was no real description. All it said was design job, so long, like up to like 6 months, expenses paid, and it said, do you want to apply? And what did I do? I hit apply. So went through that process, and maybe within the hour, I got an email saying, hey, we saw you apply for this job, blah blah blah. We want you, can you sign an NDA to continue the conversation? My first thought is, why do you need to sign an NDA just to talk to somebody? Read the NDA, signed it, sent it back. Send me an email instantly saying, hey, can we meet tonight? I'm going like, cool, that works for me. Again, they're in California time, I'm in my time, so maybe about 6 o'clock my time. I get a phone call, like, hey, we got a client out in California. We're like a third-party marketing company, and we do some work for them about so many times a year. Just going on and on and on, kind of giving me the basic spill. I'm sitting going like, here we go with this scam stuff again. I'm just listening. And then he finally says, do you want to know who the client is? I'm going like, well, if you're gonna tell me, I done sat on the phone this long, might as well tell me. He told me it was Apple. The Apple. iPhone Apple. iPod Apple. That Apple. I'm sitting going like, first, my mind went through a mix of excitement and confusion and stop playing on my phone. So I'm going like, okay, it's a job working for Apple, which is one of my dream jobs I always had in my head. I'm going like, okay, talk to her, hung up the phone with her, pick up the phone, call my right-hand lady. Hey, yo, mama, I just talked to somebody. I gave her the same spill. I dragged it out, gave it a whole 10-minute spill. I'm going like, yeah, they said it's for Apple in California. And I'm sitting going like, I think it's a scam, but something, the Holy Ghost, kept telling me just keep going with it. So I'm going like, I'm just gonna keep on going with it. So Apple sent me a design test. I sent in the design test. Things went silent for about a week and a half. Things went silent. And so at this point, I'm now on vacation, my family in Florida, and then I get an email saying, hey, we got your design test, you did good, want to do an interview with you. I'm going like, cool, I'll be back in Atlanta on Monday. They said, great. Did the interview, got the details, and then it goes, you're gonna meet with someone in Singapore. I'm going like, now this has got to be the biggest scam. Why am I interviewing with somebody in Singapore? So I did the interview with someone in Singapore on Monday. I go to work on Tuesday. It's a normal day. Ready to go home. On Wednesday, like most of us black folk, I had to go to the bathroom. As I'm in the bathroom checking my email, I notice I get an email saying we want to offer you the position. That was the longest time I spent in the bathroom ever. So I'm reading the email. I'm just excited. I'm going like, okay, I got it. Still thinking it's a scam. I'm going like, I got it. So at that point, reality starts to set in and be like, okay, I got this job in California. Do I accept it? I call everybody. I call my pastors. I call my best friends. I probably called Obama at this point. I called a little bit of everybody, talking through it, because one of those, here I am, able to, what I've been trying to do for the longest. I've been trying to get out of this job. Now I'm at a point where I can get out of this job and kind of take it to another level that I wasn't expecting to do. So I'm going like, this is in hindsight, you would think it'd be an easy choice, but it was really a hard choice. I'm going like, I'm leaving quote unquote stability, steady pay, all for call it this, a temporary job. But I couldn't pass it up. I get home that Wednesday, I accept. I'm still low-key thinking it's a scam. But I hit accept. Once I hit accept, everything started flowing in. Apple emails, book a flight, book a hotel. Everything came from at apple.com, because nothing came from Apple at this point. But now Apple starts emailing me. So I'm going like, oh, this is real. So I went back home that Thursday night, typed up my resignation, because again, my mama raised it right. If I'm gonna quit a job, I'm gonna quit a job in style. Typed up my resignation, said it's been a great 2.5 years with you all, blah, blah, blah. I've learned so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Effective this date, I will be leaving the company. I came in that Friday with a little smile on my face. My manager went in ahead of me because he knew what was going on. He went to HR first, and then I followed him right behind him, handed him my letter, and that day, I walked out of that job, never went back. I said I resigned, effective immediately. If you want to know why I didn't give him 2 weeks, because if you fast forward, just like Jesus, 3 days later, I rose again and I was flying to California. Find out it was not a scam. I quit my job on Friday. Monday morning, I was inside of Apple headquarters. So since my days at Apple, I've had the pleasure of doing some work for Google. I've done work for some Grammy Award winning artists, Stellar Award winning artists, the Cassie BMF, if you watch that show, some things for Lisa Lopez Foundation. Gotta give a shout out to my team, Oscar Wars. With them, I've had the pleasure of traveling the world, literally the world, from the US to Canada to the DR and every place in between, traveling with them, going back to my church days, doing some production work with AT&T Dreaming Black, doing some stuff with Essence Fest for them, just really living out the dream that I didn't think. One of my biggest things within this past 5-year span was being up for a nomination for a Stellar Award in 2023 for packaging design for Lawrence Flowers. That moment, it all sank in. I cried, I called my mama, we cried. We went to Vegas, saw the awards, and saying while I did not take it home, it was still one of those things of, okay, we in here. So like I said in the beginning, some of you all may know the story, some of y'all didn't know the story, Some of you all didn't know all the pieces in between. All the pieces in between. Like I said, if you know me, if you really know me, you know this story goes. It goes beyond the 5 years. It goes beyond the 15 years that it goes beyond the 15 years that Chosen Graphics has been in existence. It goes beyond that. What's next for Chosen? We all gotta wait and see. I started this journey walking out on faith, and here I am again 5 years later about to do the same thing again. Walk out on faith, try something new, switch it up. So we just gotta stay tuned to find out. So that's the story behind the name. Let's see how the rest is written.